Hey, you're listening to episode 7 of the TA Pedals podcast. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Stephon. I just want to say, we've 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 episodes. Can you believe that?
It's pretty crazy. Wow.
And
I can't believe we've done the same thing every week for 7 weeks straight.
I know. Honestly, that's what I was about to say is it takes a lot of scheduling and discipline not to just, throw it out the window one day and just say, you know what, I don't really feel like it.
I mean, I've definitely felt like doing that, but we didn't. We stuck to it.
We've got a responsibility to the listener now.
Yeah, I guess.
Or whatever.
So, new equipment.
Yeah, new equipment day. So,
let's start off with this cool new microphone.
Yeah, let's do that. So, today, just in time, actually, we received a Shure SM7B to record the podcast with. And so far, up until this episode, I've been using a Shure SM7B for my voice. And then we were using an Audio-Technica AT4033A for Stephon. And that's a condenser mic. It's super sensitive. So we were getting a lot of, room reverb and picking up a lot of ambient noise and stuff that I was having to remove in post-production or just having to deal with. Because after you compress a sound so much, it brings up all those little nuances that you hear in the background it makes them very evident. And so we decided to go ahead and get a second Shure SM7B and make it official, and it'll help us streamline the whole process a little bit more now too, because I can set the gain on the microphones the same and process everything the same, and me and Stephon will have a very similar characteristic in our voice now, which will be nice.
Yeah.
It'll make things a lot easier as far as processing our voices and making them leveled consistently, and how I set the compressors and whatever, all the magic stuff that happens after the recording.
All the little settings will be finite and easier to control, and that's that.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of picking up ambient noises, just want to give you guys a heads up too. We are recording this a little later in the day today than we normally do, and my son has prematurely woken up from his nap. And so if you hear any baby noises or any nursery rhymes or whatever, it's just him running around being crazy. So please forgive us for that. We have taken every step we can to kind of isolate ourselves while still, keep being able to keep an eye on him. But, he's probably going to pop in from time to time and have something to say too. So thanks for putting up with that for this episode.
All right, so we got a couple of things that we were working on this morning. What do you think we should say about that?
Something really exciting. We've partnered, and by partnered I mean just paid them to outright make it. It's not actually a partnership at all. There's a company in Fort Smith that does molding with acrylic and polycarbonate, and we asked them to make us a custom, what would you call that, Stephon?
I would call it a riser.
A riser. Okay. So what it is it is a acrylic washer type thing that fits around the outside lip of the back plate of a guitar pedal. And it's about 3 millimeters thick. And so it allows just a little bit of light to pass through. And so on maybe some future projects or something, we plan on using, instead of a top mounted LED for indicating whether the pedal is active or not, we're going to put an LED on the inside, and once the pedal is closed up and the LED is activated, light's going to shine through that clear acrylic riser that goes in between the body of the pedal and the back plate, and it's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and we will be posting pictures of it on a vampire squid fuzz, so everyone can see what that kind of looks like and how cool it is. I think we've also decided that the pedal that we're going to give away is going to be that very pedal that's in the picture. And for anyone who's curious, like, we've completely tested it. Like, we put it together, stomped on it, stood on it, all the above, and it's completely solid. And there's no give on it at all. It's a great piece.
Yeah, it's really solid, and it's kind of like I said, it fits around the outside lip that normally goes on the inside of the enclosure, and so instead of that lip fitting on the inside of the outer or the inner edge of the enclosure, it just makes it flush, and so the riser is reinforced by that metal lip still, and it's still got the 4 screws on it and everything. It's really secure and really strong, and that was like one of our main concerns when we were coming up with this idea. Was, we knew people were going to have these on the floor and they're going to be stomping on them and jumping on them and stuff, so it's got to be solid construction and solid material so that it doesn't crack or break or anything whenever you're using it. That would be a nightmare, in my opinion. I would be kind of aggravated about that if that happened to me. So we took old Stephon, who is, what are you, 6'5"?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'5", 230 pounds, and
Yeah.
we had him stomp around on it for a minute, and it held up. So if it can it can take some abuse. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's going to be really cool. We tested it with one LED, and we have decided, I think, that that's not quite bright enough, and it's maybe not the right placement on the PCB to illuminate the ring like we kind of want it to. And so we're going to make some adjustments on some future projects that are going to feature that acrylic riser, and make sure that it lights up in a really nice way. We don't want it to blind you, but it's got to be clear that it's on.
Yeah, and the light will go off onto the sides instead of staring at you right in the face. So it's definitely nice for anyone who's like has that trouble with like those LED lights being too bright and catching your eye. So it kind of deviates off to the sides instead of being right up front.
Yeah, it looks like it's it makes the pedal look like it's like floating on
It does.
a like a plane of light.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have personally, especially with, like Earthquaker pedals or whatever, which I love Earthquaker, not talking crap whatsoever, but with a lot of their LEDs, they're very, very bright. And so like when I look down at the pedal, if I'm playing in the dark or whatever, it is absolutely blinding if you catch it at the right angle. And so, that's the tried and true method, and that's, how we're going to continue to do things too, for the most part, I think. But I think that the LED being inside the pedal itself and then dissipating out the sides is going to be kind of a new way to visualize that your effect is on, and I really like that a lot. I think it's a cool idea.
I agree with you. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, we've just got to get the specifics of it down. Like, we know it works, but we got to figure out how many LEDs we need, how much, what the value of the resistor before the LED is to make it the appropriate brightness. How did I say how big the LED is?
No, but
Yeah, how big they are.
we gotta have a big boy in there.
Yeah, I think we're talking about
I think
jumping
if
from
we
10 to 5 or 5 to 10.
if we do smaller LEDs and spread them out, I don't think we need a big one.
That's not a bad idea either. Actually, that would probably be way better to
Yeah.
do a bunch of 3 millimeter LEDs instead of like a few 10
Yeah.
millimeter LEDs.
Yeah.
I say we go for that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's if we do 4 corners, then it's gonna, you know, bring the light to all sides of the pedal.
That's true. And that's kind of what I'm when I saw it on the squid that we
Yeah.
put together today, um I noticed that the light wasn't evenly dissipating around, the entire pedal. So we're gonna have to work on the placement of that a
Yeah.
little bit too, which is, that's
If
part of it,
we
part
if
of
we
product development.
if we brought the brightness up on that one specifically, the LED would be more dissipated on the bottom side, but it doesn't quite reach the top.
Right. Yeah.
So definitely need at least 2 LEDs, and we also need to definitely up the brightness. That's the plan for the future pedal that we're working on. That is specifically for.
Should we tell them just a very, very vague description of what we have planned for the fall season this year?
Sure.
Okay.
Fall season.
Fall season, we're doing a Halloween pedal.
Ooh, spooky.
And that's all that's all I'm gonna say. It's got
We're definitely doing we're doing a Halloween themed pedal, and it's gonna have a very unique thing going on with that as well. That we've we've discovered something new that we could do with the artwork, specifically, that we want to put on the Halloween pedal that we think is going to give it that extra little spookiness to it.
yeah, it's a really wild idea. We were just talking about the capabilities of what we could do in a program like Adobe Illustrator, and how we can use essentially like gradients to do some cool things with. I don't want to say too much. You know what? I'm just going to leave it alone. But we came up with it at work, and Stephon was like, hey, we could do a gradient this way on this particular layer, and it would make it look like something spooky. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. That could be a Halloween, like a very limited Halloween thing that we do this year. And so we've thought of that idea far enough in advance where we can actually make it happen instead of trying to cram it in last minute.
Yeah. And then we also got, so like right now where we're sitting, we have the shark coming out very, very soon. Maybe not even 2 weeks from now. It will be out on the market, ready to buy. Shortly after that, we have a very smaller pedal that we're going to put out. It's going to be a small buffer pedal, and we are still in the works on that, but it's very quick and very simple, and it's going to be out shortly after the shark comes out. And then we got our secret pedal that's coming out this summer, and then we have the Halloween special pedal that's going to come out later on. So we have a lot of things happening in a very short amount of time.
It's just so many things.
Yeah,
It's so much going on.
so much stuff. It can't fit all in one box. You're gonna have to buy multiple.
Yeah, no joke though. Like, it's just so many things coming together all at once, and it's cool to see that we can juggle that many projects at once, especially like the buffer. I'm pretty sure that the buffer, like the entire idea for the buffer, came together in a matter of like 2 days.
Yeah, even the artwork, it took me like maybe like an hour to get it done, because it was like, I know what we want to do. This is it. Like, this is cool. And we came up with the name instantly as well. Like, everything was just like, okay, this is a quick, simple, easy idea. Let's get it done and get it out there.
It's like the perfect example of like when the universe hands you an idea and it's like fully developed pretty much. And it was just like, we had a question, like the only question about it was like what we were going to call it. And then, we sent back and forth like 2 or 3 names, and we both instantly agreed on the same name. And we were like, yeah, that's it. Like, it just makes sense. Like, everything about it just makes sense. So, yep. buffers are, they're needed, but they're simple, and we're gonna try to, make something that is kind of clever and cool, but also is a nice solution to anyone who's having an issue with impedance in their pedal board and their signal chain, and we're gonna make it a very accessible and compact pedal. So it's not going to be expensive.
And it's also going to be
It's tiny.
passive. It's a passive buffer, so that's good too.
No, it's not passive, but because you have to have power
Okay.
to. Oh, it's complicated. I don't know how to.
It's
explain it.
complicated, but it's not really that complicated.
No, it's not that complicated.
The signal itself is passive. There's
no effect on the tone.
yeah.
It's
It's
just
going to
changing the
be
impedance.
always on kind of thing.
Yeah. Like there's no foot switch to turn it on and off, because like if you need a buffer, you need a buffer.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to go back and forth between turning it on and off. And I misunderstood what you meant. I'm sorry. But yeah, like there's not going to be like an on and off switch. Like you're going to plug it in, plug your guitar, input and output signal in, and put it on your board and forget about it. I hope anyway. And then eventually, like, every once in a while you can like look at it and go, that's a cool design. That's a really cool thing. And man,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do without
It's
this on my
gonna
board.
look cool. Like if you need a buffer and you want something that's not gonna be like an eyesore on your pedal board, like it's gonna look cool. Like you're gonna have this cool looking thing that's there, and it like kind of it'll stand out a little bit from the rest of the pedal board, and it's gonna look cool. So, why not have a buffer and look cool at the same time?
Yeah, because you don't you don't want to look like a nerd when you're showing off your pedal board. That would be terrible.
We're all nerds. We're all just nerds.
Dude, when I first started getting into pedals, I never thought it could get so nerdy. It's so nerdy, dude. Like when it comes to circuitry and voltage and impedance and resistance, and like you start diving into all these issues that you can have with, like, do I need a pedal that has a ground lift, or like does this pedal need to engage the ground lift like this? Do I need to take into account the 60 cycle hum in my signal? Do I need isolated, power supplies? Like it goes as deep as you want it to, and it gets very, very complicated. And that's why I think people fall in love with it so much, especially guitar players, because we like to solve puzzles. We like to figure things out. And, it can be a very expensive endeavor to try to become as noiseless as possible and have quality filtered, isolated power running to your board. It can be expensive. And then you have to worry about like your if you have a digital pedal, how are you going to supply that with 400 milliamps whenever the draw from your fuzz is like 12 milliamps or whatever? Like it just gets crazy. So yeah, we're going to try to give you guys a buffer to solve one of your problems, and in a cost effective and cool way, so you don't have to. When we say you won't look like a nerd, we actually mean you're going to look like the coolest nerd around in the pedal world, I guess. Like whoever you show your pedal board to, they're going to say, "What is that?" You're going to say, "Don't worry about it. You're not cool enough to have one." Just go back to your other little black buffer thing that you have over there. Don't worry about this.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about the buffer.
Yeah, we're making a buffer.
What else we got?
It's joke time.
It's joke time.
I never thought orthopedic shoes would really work for me, but I stand corrected. Well,
I mean, it just like the jokes are fine, like they're funny, but like you're not expecting something like that. It's like I'm looking for like a play on words. Like, what does orthopedic have to do with walking correct? or standing correctly. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, because they fixed your, yeah,
posture.
I got it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna. Okay, that we know it was a short episode, but we got a lot to do and not a lot to talk about. So,
There, you know all the stuff that we're doing, you know all the stuff that's coming. Next week we're probably gonna have a lot more stuff to talk about because it's getting closer to the time the shark's going out. So, but for now, you know everything we need to know.
Yep. Thanks for listening to whatever this was, this crazy episode. We appreciate you tuning in, and we promise next week will be better. It's gonna be really good, I promise. Please don't leave us. But anyway, I guess we will talk to you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.